Hello.
My name is Mikayla, and I was invited here to share a story with you guys. When I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with an incurable disorder called autism. And that just meant that I had struggles. I had trouble with speech for quite a while, and I had learning disabilities. Because I had issues like learning things like, you try to say something to me like verbally, and I would look at you like a deer in the headlights. I would not understand anything you're saying. And another thing that I really struggled with autism is being touched. I hated being hugged. And autism in my world was like living an everyday life, but with obstacles. And I often believed lies of the devil, that I would never be good enough, and that I was just too stupid to do anything. But let me tell you, that is a lie. I believed that lie for the longest time, but no. And I even wrote a letter to everybody saying like what I was dealing with. And I'd like to read you that letter. Most of you know that I have dealt with autism my whole life. But do you know what it means to deal with autism? Being autistic is, like what I said, living a typical life but with obstacles. And one of those obstacles happened to be communication and socialization. I wasn't very good at either of them things. I've normally been able to talk to people much older than me than kids my own age. But for some, it feels like pins and needles poking into their skin every time some stranger tries to touch. And people have questioned my autism, and I tried to tell them, but they just couldn't understand. And because of that, I have meltdowns. This is a sensory overload that happens in intense situations. One of the major sensory things that I've had to deal with was sights, sounds, and smells. They were all received like people placing groceries in your grocery bags. And sometimes, have you noticed that when they put too much, your grocery bag breaks? That's kind of what autism was like for me. But my struggles were maybe being on a bus with too many people or standing in the middle of a crowded line. I hated crowds. And I dealt with this by extraordinary fidgeting, chewing, and stimulations. And stimulations is repetitive movements and whatnot. And one thing I did most was rocking back and forth, hand flapping, and you name it. That was just my way of putting away the groceries before I got overloaded and had a complete meltdown. But do not let the difficulties mislead you. A lot of autistic kids are very smart and creative. A lot of them really do care, and I sure did. But some don't know how to express it. I, on the other hand, have always, and still do find it easier to communicate with writing. Whereas some kids who have issues with communication, like people who are nonverbal, who use computers, iPads to communicate. But next time you see somebody with these characteristics, look for ways to help them be all they can be, because they truly are incredible people. Yes. So that was a letter I wrote to all my teachers, everybody, and just to explain my world of autism. So, the summer after my 9th grade year, my dad is a pastor, so he gets called to different churches. And so we got called to the church in Gainesboro that we are now at. And this caused my autism to go spiraling out of control. And it was just hard. But we went to this conference just after we moved to Gainesboro. We went to the Aldersgate conference that we go to every year since I was about 12. But this year that we went, my autism just was so out of hand. I couldn't stand change. But that's not just an autism thing, that's an everybody thing. But it's a lot harder when you're on the spectrum. But I went to this conference, and everything at this conference was different. Like, the same worship band at this conference wasn't the same. Like, the same people that were there last year weren't there this year. And that about caused me to have a panic attack, because I hated it. But I got through that conference just fine, and I actually met a few friends, which is not easy which wasn't very easy for me at all. But yeah, I got through that conference just fine, and a couple weeks after the conference was over, I started my 10th grade year in high school. That was a real struggle for me, because I had my autism and I hated being in social crowds, and I didn't even want to go eat lunch in the cafeteria with the other kids because I was that bad. So I actually got through my sophomore year just fine. I even met a friend. Her name is Tori. She was my best friend. And so fast forward a year, and we went back to this conference that we go to. And this year was above every other year I've ever went, because this is the year I got healed. And so what had happened was, we got to our hotel, and I found out that our room was going to be on the 7th floor of this hotel. You want to know what I did rather than riding the elevator? I climbed 7 flights of stairs like 3 times a day until that Saturday night. I just did not want to deal with crowds and everything. But that Saturday night, when we were at the conference, like, this conference had loud music and stuff, and the lights on the stage were just killing me. So autism was severely on my mind. And it was on my mind 24/7, because autism for me deals with almost everything. But yeah, they did an altar call this Saturday night during the worship service, and I just felt like I was ready to give up my burdens to the Lord. He told me that I should probably go up to the altar, tell them that, hey, I'm struggling here. I have autism and stuff. But I had to write it down on my phone because the music was too loud. But they volunteered to pray for me. And when they prayed over me, boy, could I just feel the changes. It's like the Holy Spirit was doing brain surgery, rewiring every little part. Yes, praise God. And just after they got done praying for me, I did something that you probably don't consider a big deal. But for people with autism, that's huge. I made eye contact with them. And that is something, if you knew me beforehand, that is something I never did. I always would look down, and I would never look up at anybody and smile. So that was a pretty big deal. But afterwards, on that Saturday night, I rode on that crowded elevator for the first time. And I had no problem with it. Yes, and like I said, God does something big every year. But let me tell you, this year was a miracle. I used to not believe that this could happen to me. You hear all these things on the internet saying, oh, he's been healed of this, he's been healed of that. But I didn't believe it would happen to me. But now, I graduated high school. And let me tell you something. They said that I would graduate, but I wouldn't graduate with a regular diploma. I would have a special ed diploma. But let me show you something. God had other plans. That's not a special ed diploma. Not at all. He is so good. And let me tell you, I did not believe that this autism thing could happen to me. But let me tell you, it did. And another thing is, I fought this healing for years. I didn't want to be healed because I didn't feel I was ready. Because autism made me feel unique, made me feel special. But let me tell you something, this life is so much better than autism life. Yes, it was a roller coaster. But now I have a story to share. Now I get to go around and share stories of hope. Maybe somebody can have hope that their kid could be healed of something. Or maybe you can be healed of something, who knows? But I do encourage you to take whatever it is that you have, whatever burden, whether it be autism or something, take it to the altar, give it to God. Because let me tell you, I felt just amazing after I gave it up. Like you know what it feels like to have a heavy burden lifted off your shoulder. Like that just felt incredible. But yes, I do encourage you guys to take whatever this is that you're struggling with. I encourage you to take it to the altar. And I am begging you to take it to the altar because, quite frankly, it's just, I don't even have words to describe just how incredible it feels. And Mom over here is wanting me to share you a little story. As you can see, I have this necklace right here of a broken shell. And this broken shell kind of reminded me of my autism. She had a friend that went and dug up shells on the beach. She was trying to find the whole shells. And the shells that weren't broken at all. But you know how hard that is. But yeah. But God spoke to her and said, don't use the whole ones, use the broken ones. Because that's what I use. I use the broken shells. And so, that's kind of what this story is. But yeah, I definitely am was one of them broken shells. But yeah. Yeah, I just encourage y'all.